The stars had always been kind to humanity. For 300 years, they had spread across the galaxy like seeds carried by the wind. They built colonies on distant worlds. They made friends with alien species. They traded, learned, and grew. Humans believed that the universe was a place where all beings could live together in peace. Admiral Ho believed this more than anyone. He stood on the bridge of his ship, the Morning Star, looking at the blue and green planet below. 7 was one of humanity's proudest achievements. 3 million people lived there. Families had built homes. Children went to schools. Farmers grew crops in the rich soil. It was a world full of hope and dreams. Ho's own family lived there. His wife Bora taught music to young children. His daughter Hana was only 12 years old. She loved to paint pictures of the stars. His son Ho was 8. He wanted to be a pilot like his father someday. Ho smiled as he thought of them. In 2 more days his mission would be over. He would return home. Bora had promised to make his favorite food. Hana said she had a surprise painting for him. Ho wanted to show him a model spaceship he had built. 2 more days. The communication officer, a young woman named Bin, suddenly looked up from her screen. Her face had turned pale. "Admiral," she said, her voice was shaking, "we are receiving a message from 7. Ho walked over to her station, put it through. The screen flickered. A man appeared. His face was covered in blood and dust. Behind him, Ho could see buildings on fire. People were screaming. The sky was filled with smoke and strange ships. "This is Governor Park," the man said. His voice was broken. "They have attacked. They came without warning. They are destroying everything. We have no defenses. Please, please send help. They are killing everyone, men, women, children. They do not care, please." The screen went black. Ho felt his heart stop. For a moment he could not breathe. He could not think. The bridge was silent. Everyone was looking at him. "Get me a visual of the planet," Ho said. His voice sounded strange to his own ears. "Now." The main screen changed. It showed 7 from space. But the planet did not look the same anymore. Great fires burned across the surface. Ho could see the orange glow even from orbit. Warships flew in patterns above the world, dropping bombs and firing weapons. The cities that humans had built over decades were being destroyed in minutes. Ho thought of Bora. He thought of Hana and her paintings. He thought of Ho and his dreams of flying. "Sir," Bin said quietly, "I am trying to contact your family's residence. There is no response." Ho closed his eyes. When he opened them again, something had changed inside him. The warmth that had always lived in his heart was gone. In its place was something cold and hard like iron. "Contact Earth Command," he said. "Tell them what has happened. Tell them everything." The message reached Earth within hours. The news spread across every human world like fire through dry grass. 3 million people, gone, murdered, for no reason except that they wanted to send a message. The Empire was one of the oldest powers in the galaxy. They had ruled their part of space for 10,000 years. They saw themselves as superior to all other beings. Humans were nothing to them, just another young species that needed to learn its place. The Galactic Council met 3 days later. This was the great assembly where all species came together to discuss important matters. Humanity had been a member for only 100 years. They were still seen as newcomers, children playing in a game meant for adults. Ambassador represented humanity at the council. She was a small woman with short black hair and calm eyes. She had spent 20 years building relationships with other species. She believed in diplomacy. She believed that words could solve any problem. She stood before the council and told them what had happened on 7. She showed them images of the destruction. She played recordings of the screams. She asked for justice. The representative, a tall being with silver scales, simply laughed. "The humans built their colony too close to our territory," he said. "They were warned many times. This is their own fault. We were protecting our borders." hands were shaking, but her voice remained steady. 3 million civilians, children. What threat did they pose to your empire? The waved a clawed hand. That is not our concern. Weak species must learn not to challenge the strong. Looked around the council chamber. She looked at the representatives of 100 different species. She waited for someone to speak up. She waited for someone to demand justice. No one said anything. The council voted. They decided that they had acted within their rights. There would be no punishment. There would be no investigation. The matter was closed. Stood alone in the great chamber. She had given her life to this place. She had believed that the galaxy was fair. She had believed that there was justice among the stars. She had been wrong. That night the leaders of Earth gathered in a room deep underground. Presidents, generals, scientists, and admirals sat around a long table. Ho was there too. His eyes were red, but his face showed no emotion. They talked for many hours. Some wanted to accept the council's decision and move on. Some wanted to wait and seek justice through other means. Some wanted revenge. In the end, they voted. The result was unanimous. For the first time in 300 years, humanity would go to war. Not a small conflict, not a border dispute. This would be total war against the Empire and anyone who stood with them. The message was sent to every human world. Young men and women lined up to join the military. Factories that had been making farming equipment began making weapons. Scientists who had been studying medicine began studying destruction. The galaxy had pushed humanity too far. They had killed innocents and laughed. They had justice and walked away. They did not know what they had done. They did not know that humans had been holding back for 300 years. They did not know that humanity had been watching, learning, and preparing. They thought humans were weak because humans chose peace. They were about to learn the truth. Admiral Ho stood on the bridge of the Morning Star once again. But this time, he was not alone. Behind him stretched a fleet of 10,000 ships. Each one carried humans who had lost someone. Each one carried anger that had been building for too long. Ho looked at the stars. Somewhere out there, they were celebrating their victory. They thought they had taught humanity a lesson. They had no idea that the lesson was just beginning. The Galactic Council Chamber was the largest building ever made. It floated in space at the center of the galaxy, a station bigger than most moons. Inside, representatives from over 500 species gathered to discuss the affairs of the universe. For thousands of years, this had been the heart of galactic civilization. Ambassador had walked these halls many times. She knew every corridor. She knew every face. She had spent decades making friends here, building trust and working for peace. This place had been her second home. Today she walked through it for the last time. The other ambassadors watched her pass. Some looked away. Some whispered to each other. They had heard the rumors. They knew something was about to happen. The air itself seemed heavy with tension. Entered the main chamber. It was a vast circular room with seats rising in tiers all around. At the center was a platform where speakers could address the assembly. Thousands of alien beings sat in their designated sections, their many eyes fixed on the small human woman walking toward the platform. The section was directly across from her. Their representative sat in an ornate chair, his silver scales gleaming under the lights. He looked amused. Around him, other officials laughed and talked among themselves. They did not seem worried at all. Reached the platform. She stood there in silence for a long moment. The chamber grew quiet. 3 weeks ago, began, the Empire attacked a peaceful human colony. 3 million people died. Among them were doctors who healed the sick, teachers who educated the young, children who had done nothing wrong except be born human. She paused. Her voice was steady and clear. We came to this council seeking justice. We believed that this assembly existed to protect the innocent. We believed that there were rules that all species must follow. We believed that murder on such a scale would not go unpunished. The representative made a sound of annoyance. We have already discussed this matter. The council made its decision. Why are you wasting our time again? Looked at him. There was something different in her eyes now, something they had never seen from a human before. I am not here to ask for justice, she said. I am here to inform you of what happens next. The chamber stirred. Aliens exchanged confused glances. For 300 years, continued, humanity has been a member of the galactic community. We have followed every rule. We have respected every tradition. We have shared our technology, our culture, and our friendship. We asked for nothing except to live in peace. She turned slowly, looking at each section of the chamber. And in return, you have looked down on us. You have called us young. You have called us weak. You have treated us like children who do not understand the way things work. When they killed our people, you did nothing. When we asked for help, you turned away. Her voice grew harder. You mistook our patience for weakness. You thought we chose peace because we could not fight. You were wrong. The representative stood up. Is this a threat? You dare threaten us in the council chamber. I am not making threats, said calmly. I am stating facts. As of this moment, humanity is withdrawing from the Galactic Council. All human diplomats in all systems are being recalled. All trade agreements are suspended. All joint projects are canceled. The chamber erupted in noise. Voices shouted in 100 different languages. This had never happened before. No species had ever left the council. Waited until the noise died down. And one more thing, she said. The United Earth government has officially declared war on the Empire. The silence that followed was absolute. The representative laughed. It was a loud, ugly sound. War. You declare war on us. They have conquered 1,000 worlds. We have destroyed civilizations older than your entire species. What can humans possibly do against us? Smiled. It was a small smile, but it sent a chill through everyone who saw it. You will find out soon enough. She turned and walked out of the chamber. Behind her, chaos exploded. Ambassadors were shouting, demanding explanations, calling for emergency meetings, but did not look back. Her work here was done. Outside the chamber, a young human aide named Dong was waiting for her. He looked nervous. Ambassador, he said, the other species are demanding to speak with you. They want to negotiate. They say this is madness. Kept walking. There is nothing to negotiate. Tell them that any species that provides aid to them will be considered our enemy. Any species that remains neutral will not be harmed. But Ambassador, some of our allies are asking questions. The collective, the Myra Federation, they want to know what our plans are. Stopped, she looked at the young man with kind but tired eyes. Our plans are simple, Dong. We are going to make them pay for what they did, and we are going to make sure that no one ever attacks a human world again. Can we really win against them? Dong asked. His voice was barely a whisper. They have the largest fleet in the galaxy. Put a hand on his shoulder. They have never fought humans who were not holding back. None of the species in this galaxy have. For 300 years, we have hidden our true strength. We have pretended to be weak so that others would not fear us. We wanted to be accepted, not feared. She looked out a window at the stars. But now there is no reason to hide anymore. They have seen our kindness and called it weakness. They have seen our mercy and called it cowardice. So we will show them what humanity truly is. We will show them why Earth survived ice ages and plagues and world wars. We will show them why humans conquered their own world before reaching for the stars. Across the galaxy, the message spread. Human ambassadors on 40 different worlds received their orders. They packed their belongings and said goodbye to friends they had known for years. Some aliens begged them to stay. Some warned them that they were making a terrible mistake. The humans said nothing, they simply left. The High Commander received the news of the human declaration. He laughed so hard that his scales turned bright gold. "These creatures have lost their minds," he said to his officers. "They think they can fight us. Send a message to all fleets. Tell them to prepare for the easiest war in our history. Within 1 week, we will burn Earth itself." His officers cheered. They raised their weapons in celebration. None of them noticed the small human ship that was watching from the edge of their system. Inside, a woman named Young recorded everything she saw. Every ship, every defense platform, every patrol route. She sent the information to Earth Command with a simple note. "They are not preparing for war. They are preparing for a celebration." Admiral Ho received the report. He read it carefully. Then he called his commanders together. "They think this will be easy," he said. "They think we are weak prey that does not know how to fight. This is good. Let them believe this. Let them keep laughing, because when we strike they will not see it coming." Commander, the leader of the First Fleet, leaned forward. "When do we begin?" Ho looked at the star map on the table. The Empire stretched across hundreds of systems. It had taken them 10,000 years to build. "Tomorrow," he said, "tomorrow we tear it all down." Commander had served in the human fleet for 30 years. She had trained soldiers, led patrols, and protected colonies from pirates and raiders. But she had never fought a real war. No human had for 3 centuries. That was about to change. She stood on the bridge of the thundering sky, the flagship of the First Fleet. Around her, 5,000 warships waited in perfect formation. Each ship was crewed by humans who had volunteered for this mission. Each one understood what they were about to do. "Commander," said her tactical officer, a young man named One, "we are receiving the final orders from Admiral Ho." Nodded, "Put them on screen." Ho's face appeared. He looked older than he had 3 weeks ago. The loss of his family had carved deep lines into his face, but his eyes burned with cold fire. "Commander," he said, "you have your targets. The defense network consists of 12 major stations along their border. Intelligence reports that they are poorly guarded. They do not believe we will attack. They think we are still gathering our forces. They are wrong." "Understood, Admiral." "One more thing," Ho said. "I know what we have been taught. I know we were raised to be peaceful, but the time for peace is over. These stations must be destroyed. Show no mercy to military targets, but remember who we are. We do not kill civilians. We do not bomb cities. We are not like them." "We will make you proud, Admiral." Ho almost smiled. "Almost. I know you will. Good hunting, Commander." The screen went dark. Turned to her crew. Every eye was on her. "You all know why we are here," she said. 3 million of our people died on 7. The galaxy looked away. They laughed. Today we give them something to cry about. She pointed at the star map. "Our first target is Station 7. It guards the main route into space. Intelligence says they have 200 ships defending it. They think this is enough." One looked nervous. "Commander, 200 ships is a significant force." Smiled. It was the smile of a wolf. 200 ships would be significant if we were still fighting like we used to. But we are not playing their game anymore. We are playing ours. She pressed a button on her console. "All ships, this is Commander. Activate Protocol 0. Across the fleet, something changed. Lights that had been dim suddenly blazed bright. Engines that had been running at half power roared to life. Weapons that had been hidden behind false hull plates emerged into view. For 300 years, human ships had been designed to look weak. They had hidden their true capabilities behind clever disguises. The galaxy thought human technology was slightly below average. They thought human ships were slow and poorly armed. They had no idea. "Commander," one said, his voice filled with wonder, "our speed has tripled. Our weapons are reading at 300% capacity. How is this possible?" "Because we lied," said simply. "We lied to everyone for 300 years. Our scientists did not share their best work. Our engineers built weapons and then hid them. We hoped we would never need them, But we prepared anyway, because that is what humans do. We prepare for the worst while hopping for the best. The first fleet jumped through hyperspace. The journey that should have taken 3 days took 6 hours. When they emerged near Station 7, the defenders were completely unprepared. The station commander, an old named Tar, was eating his midday meal when the alarms began screaming. He rushed to the command center, scales flashing with alarm. "What is happening?" he demanded. "Sir, human ships have appeared in our space. Thousands of them. They came through hyperspace faster than any ship we have ever seen." Tar felt a cold fear creeping into his heart. This was wrong. Humans could not move this fast. Humans did not have this many ships. How many exactly? "Over 5,000 warships, sir. They are approaching at incredible speed." 5,000. That is impossible. Our intelligence said they had perhaps 800 combat-ready vessels. "Sir, they are hailing us." "Put it through." Commander's face appeared on the screen. She looked calm, almost bored. "This is Commander of the United Earth Fleet," she said. "You are defending a military station of the Empire. You have 2 choices. Surrender now and you will be treated as prisoners of war according to human customs. This means you will be fed, housed, and returned to your people when the war ends. Or you can fight." Tar straightened his scales. "You dare attack us. We are the Empire. We have crushed species far mightier than yours." "That is your choice then," said. "I am sorry for you." The screen went dark. Tar turned to his officers. "All ships, attack formation. Show these humans the price of their foolishness." 200 warships moved forward. They were big, powerful vessels that had won countless battles. Their commanders were experienced warriors who had never known defeat. The battle lasted 11 minutes. Watch from her bridge as human ships tore through the formation like a storm through dry leaves. The weapons could not hit ships that moved so fast. The shields could not stop weapons that hit so hard. One by one, the ships exploded or went dark. Some tried to surrender at the end, accepted their surrender. Others tried to ram human ships in desperation. They were destroyed before they got close. When it was over, Station 7 floated alone in space, its defenders gone. "Commander," one said, "we lost 12 ships, the lost 187. Nodded slowly. "Send teams to rescue any survivors floating in space, or human, I do not care. Save them all." "Yes, Commander." She looked at the station. "And contact the station. Tell them they can surrender now or die when we destroy their station in 1 hour. The choice is theirs." The station surrendered within 10 minutes. News of the battle spread across the galaxy like fire. Other species watched in shock as reports came in. The humans had attacked. The humans had won. The humans had defeated a force in 11 minutes. And they were not stopping. Over the next 72 hours, the First Fleet destroyed all 12 border stations. They moved so fast that they could not organize a response. By the time reinforcements arrived at one location, the humans were already attacking another. On 100 different worlds, alien leaders gathered to watch the impossible unfold. The Empire, the greatest military power in the galaxy, was being torn apart by a species they had dismissed as weak. Ambassador received messages from dozens of governments. They all said the same thing. They wanted nothing to do with this war. They would not help they would remain neutral. Read each message carefully. Then she sent the same reply to all of them. "We accept your neutrality. Stay out of our way and no harm will come to you." Deep in space, High Commander received the casualty reports. His scales had turned pale. His claws were shaking. "This cannot be real," he whispered. "Humans cannot fight like this. They are weak. They are young. They are nothing." His aide stood nearby, too afraid to speak. Stared at the star map. Red markers showed where human forces had struck. They were getting closer to the heart of the Empire. Getting closer to the Send everything we have, commanded. Every ship, every soldier, every weapon, stop them. Stop them now. But somewhere in the back of his mind, a small voice whispered a terrible truth. They could not be stopped. Humanity had awakened, and the galaxy would never be the same. Captain had always been a quiet person. She did not give speeches. She did not seek glory. She simply did her job with calm skill that impressed everyone who served with her. When Admiral Ho had chosen her to lead the assault on the, many had been surprised. She was not the most famous captain. She was not the most decorated. But Ho knew something that others did not. There was not just a warrior. She was a master of understanding how enemies think. She could look at a problem and see solutions that others missed. And for this mission, that was exactly what he needed. "Captain," said her second-in-command, a tall man named Wu Jin, "we are approaching the home system. Long-range sensors show their entire remaining fleet gathered around the planet, over 3,000 ships." De studied the display. That was called Velar Prime. It was a beautiful world of silver oceans and crystal mountains. 15 billion lived there. It was the heart of their empire, the source of their pride. And it was surrounded by the largest fleet they had ever assembled. "They pulled back everything," she observed. "Every ship from every colony. They are making their last stand here." "Can we defeat them?" Wu Jin asked. 3,000 ships is more than we have ever faced at once." De smiled slightly. "We could defeat them in battle, yes, but that is not what we are going to do." "I do not understand." "Look at their formation, Wu Jin. They are arranged in defensive positions around the planet. They expect us to attack. They expect a fight." She turned to the communications officer. "Open a channel to the command. Make sure everyone in their fleet can hear this." "Channel open, Captain." De stood straight and spoke clearly. "Attention, forces. This is Captain of the United Earth Fleet. I am here to accept your surrender." Across the communication network, commanders shouted in anger. How dare this human demand surrender? They still had 3,000 ships. They were defending there. They would never give up. High Commander's voice came through, filled with rage. "Surrender, you arrogant creature. You face the full might of the Empire. We will destroy you and every human ship in existence." De remained calm. "High Commander, I am going to explain something to you. Please listen carefully. What you have seen in the past 2 weeks is not the full strength of humanity. It is perhaps 10%. We have been holding back." Silence on the channel. "Your intelligence told you that humans had 800 warships. We actually have over 40,000. Your scientists believed human technology was slightly inferior to yours. In truth, we are approximately 200 years ahead of you in every field that matters." His voice came back, but it was weaker now, less certain. "You are lying. This is a trick." "I will prove it to you," De said. "In exactly 10 seconds I am going to shut down every ship in your fleet, not destroy. Shut down. Your weapons, your engines, your life support, everything will stop. You will float helplessly in space while I demonstrate that fighting us is pointless." "That is impossible. No technology can do that." 10, 9, 8. On the flagship screamed at his officers. "Raise shields to maximum. Activate all countermeasures. Prepare for." 3, 2, 1. Every light on every ship went dark at the same moment. 3,000 warships became 3,000 dead hulks drifting in space. Officers floated in zero gravity as the artificial gravity failed. Screens went black. Weapons powered down. Communications cut off. On Velar Prime, billions of looked up at the sky where their mighty fleet had been. They saw only darkness and the distant lights of human ships. De waited exactly 5 minutes. Then she restored power to the fleet. Lights flickered back on. Gravity returned. Officers fell to the floor as systems restarted. "That was a demonstration," De said calmly. "I turned off your ships from a distance of 500,000 kilometers without firing a single weapon. I can do it again whenever I want. I can keep your fleet paralyzed forever." Her voice became harder. "Or I can destroy you all with a thought. Your shields cannot stop what we have. Your weapons cannot touch us. Your numbers mean nothing. You are completely at our mercy." She paused. "But we are not like you. We do not kill those who cannot fight back. So I am giving you a choice. Surrender now and your people will live. Your soldiers will be disarmed but not harmed. Your civilians will not be touched. Your world will not be burned." Stood on his bridge, surrounded by officers who were shaking with fear. He had served the Empire for 60 years. He had led armies to victory against dozens of species. He had never lost a battle. But he had never faced anything like this. "How?" he whispered. "How can you have such power? We watched humanity for 300 years. We studied your ships, your weapons, your technology. You were weak. We were certain of it." This answer was simple. "You saw what we wanted you to see. We showed you a face of peace and cooperation because we hoped for a future where all species could live together. We hid our strength because we did not want others to fear us. We wanted friends, not subjects." "Then why?" asked. "Why did you build such weapons if you only wanted peace?" "Because we learned long ago that hopping for peace does not guarantee it. On our there is an old saying, if you want peace, prepare for war. We hoped we would never need these weapons, but we made them anyway, just in case." De looked at the image of the. "We did not want this war. You forced it upon us. You killed 3 million of our people and laughed. You thought we were prey. You were wrong." Closed his eyes. Around him, his officers waited. The fate of 15 billion rested on his decision. He thought of his family on the planet below. His children, if he refused to surrender, the humans might spare them, or they might not. Could he take that risk? He thought of his pride, the pride of the Empire. For 10,000 years they had never surrendered to anyone. But pride meant nothing if his people were dead. "I accept your terms," said. His voice was barely a whisper. "The Empire surrenders." Across the galaxy, beings of every species watched in disbelief as the mighty fleet powered down their weapons. Warships that had conquered worlds opened their airlocks and allowed human soldiers to board. The greatest military power in the galaxy had fallen without a single shot being fired in the final battle. Captain Da stood on her bridge, watching her people secure the fleet. There was no celebration, no cheering. The humans moved with quiet efficiency, treating their defeated enemies with respect. Captain Wujin said softly, "What happens now?" Da looked at the beautiful world below. 15 billion people who had been taught to hate and fear humanity. Now they would have to learn something new. "Now we show them who we really are," she said. "Not conquerors, not monsters, just people who wanted to be left in peace." Will they ever forgive us? De thought about that for a long moment. Perhaps not us, but maybe our children's children will live in a galaxy where no one has to forgive anyone, where peace is real and war is just a memory. She turned back to her duties. "But first we have to build that galaxy, and we start today." The war lasted 19 days. In those 19 days, humanity had done what most species believed was impossible. They had broken the Empire. They had captured there without firing a shot. They had proven that everything the galaxy believed about humans was wrong. Now came the hardest part. General Sung had served Earth for 45 years. He was an old man now with white hair and deep wrinkles, but his eyes were sharp and his mind was sharper. He had overseen the war from Earth Command, coordinating fleets and armies across hundreds of light years. Now he had one final mission. He had to address the Galactic Council. The council chamber was full when Sung arrived. Representatives from 500 species had gathered. Some looked afraid. Some looked angry. Many simply looked confused. The universe they had known was gone. They did not know what would replace it. Ambassador walked beside Sung as he entered. She had spent her life in this place. She knew these beings better than anyone. She would help him find the right words. "Are you ready?" she asked quietly. Sung looked at the assembled aliens. So many different faces, so many different fears. "No," he said honestly, "but ready or not, this must be done." He walked to the central platform, the same platform where had declared war 3 weeks ago. The chamber fell silent as he stood there. Sung did not speak immediately. He looked around slowly, meeting as many eyes as he could. He wanted them to see him, not as a conqueror, not as a monster, just as a tired old man who had seen too much. "I know what you are thinking," he finally said. "You are thinking about what we did to the. You are wondering if we will do the same to you. You are afraid." He let those words hang in the air. "You should not be afraid. We did not fight this war to conquer. We did not come here to rule. We came here because we had no other choice." He pressed a button on his console. Images appeared on screens around the chamber. Images of 7 before the attack. Children playing in parks. Families walking down streets. Artists painting murals on walls. 3 million people, Sung said. They were not soldiers, they were not threats. They were teachers and farmers and musicians. They were parents and children. They were living their lives in peace. The images changed. Now they showed the destruction, the fires, the broken buildings, the bodies. They took them from us, not because we threatened them, not because we had done anything wrong. They killed our people to send a message, to remind us that we were small and weak and had no power. Sung's voice grew harder. "And when we came to this council for justice, what happened? You looked away. You voted to protect the murderers. You told us that the strong do what they want and the weak suffer what they must." The chamber was absolutely silent. We remembered those words. When our fleets crossed into space, we remembered. When we surrounded there, we remembered. We remembered what you taught us about power and weakness. He paused. "And we chose to be different." He changed the images again. Now they showed human soldiers distributing food to civilians, human doctors treating wounded warriors, human engineers helping to restore power to cities that had lost it during the surrender. We had the power to destroy them. We chose mercy. We had the ability to burn their world. We chose to help rebuild it. We could have become exactly what they were. We chose to be better. An alien representative stood up. He was from the collective, a species that had always been friendly to humans. "General Sung, what do you want from us? What happens now?" Sung nodded at the question. "That is what I am here to tell you. We do not want to rule the galaxy. We do not want to replace the empire with a human empire. We just want to live in peace." He stepped forward. "But we have learned that peace requires strength. For 300 years, we hid our power because we thought weakness would make others accept us. We were wrong. Our weakness just made us targets." His voice became firm. "So here is what will happen. Humanity will take its place among the great powers of this galaxy. We will have a voice in this council equal to any other species. Our worlds will be protected. Our people will be safe. Anyone who threatens us will face the same fate as the." Murmurs rippled through the chamber. But Sung continued, "We will not use our power to bully or conquer. We will protect the weak, not prey on them. We will seek fair solutions, not one-sided demands. We will be the kind of great power that we always wished existed when we were small." He looked at the section of the chamber. It was mostly empty now, but a few junior diplomats had been allowed to attend. They looked broken and lost. "Even though we'll be treated fairly," Sung said. "We have removed their military power. We have freed the species they had conquered, but we will not demand their destruction. They will rebuild. They will become a normal member of the galactic community. In time, perhaps we can even find peace with them." Admiral Ho was watching from a screen in Earth Command. His face showed nothing. The wounds from losing his family would never fully heal. but he understood why this was necessary. Revenge felt good, but revenge did not build futures. Sung spoke his final words. I have a message for every species in this galaxy. You do not need to fear humanity, but you do need to respect us. Treat us fairly and we will do the same. Help us build a better galaxy and we will help you. Stand against us and we will do what we must. He stepped back from the platform. We wanted peace. You chose otherwise. Now you have seen what we can do when peace fails. Remember this. Remember it well, and choose your next actions wisely. He turned and walked out of the chamber, followed him. Behind them, 500 species sat in stunned silence. The old order was gone. A new order was beginning. And at the center of it were the humans, the species they had dismissed as young and weak. Outside the chamber, fell into step beside Sung. Do you think they understood? She asked. Sung looked out a window at the stars. So many lights, so many worlds, so many possibilities. Some of them did, others will take time, but they will learn. And can we really make peace with them someday? Sung thought about that. He thought about all the anger and pain. He thought about Ho, who had lost everything. He thought about the 3 million graves on 7. I do not know, he admitted, but we have to try, otherwise what was the point of any of this? Nodded slowly. We showed them we could destroy, now we have to show them we can build. Yes, Sung agreed. That is the harder job. War takes days, peace takes generations. They walked together toward the human ship that would take them home. Behind them, the Galactic Council began the slow process of understanding their new reality. Humanity had arrived, not as conquerors, not as victims, but as equals. And the galaxy would never forget it. Far away on a small ship orbiting 7, Admiral Ho stood alone. He looked down at the world where his family had died, where 3 million humans had died. I hope you can see this, Bora, he whispered. We did not let them win. We did not let them forget. He placed his hand on the cold window. Rest now, all of you rest in peace. Above the world, the stars shone bright and clear, and somewhere in that vast darkness, humanity began building the future their children deserved. A future where no one would ever call them weak again.